from pushing some provocative boundaries with the first film to completely changing the way the world looked at male exotic dancers. Here's how Channing Tatum carried the Magic Mike franchise. Let's throw it back to 2012, when Magic Mike became a blockbuster hit that no one expected it to be. A story revolving around a male stripper in Tampa. It doesn't really sound like quite a cinematic experience, does it? It's like walking on a tightrope, trying to navigate a topic like this without going too overboard to the point where the whole thing becomes tasteless. But the one thing that kept Magic Mike from sinking was that it was based on a real-life story. Whose life am I talking about, you may ask? Well, none other than the franchise's biggest star, Channing Tatum. For those of you who had no idea, before he became the heartthrob that we all know him as today, Tatum was strutting his stuff as a Tampa-based stripper with the stage name Chan Crawford. And let's just say that he was quite popular with the ladies. But in the early 2000s, Channing left that world behind and drove all the way to Orlando to audition as a backup dancer in the music video for Ricky Martin's She Bangs. While he only got a paycheck of $400 for his hard work, the music video paved the way for him to become the hottest Abercrombie model anyone has ever seen. His big break came in 2006 with She's the Man. That very same year, destiny struck when he met his future, and now ex-wife Jenna Dewan, while busting out some killer dance moves in Step Up. Who says love doesn't bloom on the dance floor? Fast forward to 2010, and Channing landed a role in Steven Soderbergh's film, Haywire. Right in the middle of a press appearance for the film, the actor casually mentioned his desire to bring his early stripper life to the big screen. Of course, Soderbergh was totally on board with the whole thing, and that's how Magic Mike was born. But the director had one condition. The two would have to co-finance the $7 million budget with their own money. That's quite an ask for a young and struggling actor, but Channing was so confident in his vision that he agreed to the deal almost instantly. Once that was done, the next big step was to actually write the script. You won't hear of many instances in Hollywood where a film is greenlit before it has a script, but I guess when you pitch a story as good as the one Channing did, it was pretty much a guaranteed success. Since the story was partially based on the actor's life story, he co-wrote the script with Reed Carolyn. The first Magic Mike film hit the screens on June 24, 2012, and was a massive banger. The film made $167 million at the box office. While I'm not great at math, I know that the money is much more than what Channing and Soderbergh spent on production combined. Channing's story hit people so hard that the film made tens of millions more from home rentals and DVD sales. At the end of the day, Channing earned around $60 million for all the roles he took on in the film. But let's be honest, the best one was Mike Lane. Who else would play the lead in a story as personal as this than the actor himself? And boy, did he do a great job at it. He looked absolutely sizzling while doing so. No one can ever forget that iconic stripping scene, am I right? But the truth is, Channing completely changed the game with his portrayal of Mike Lane. Why do I say that? Tatum breathed life into the character, playing him with just the right amount of vulnerability and charisma, and of course, the undeniable sex appeal. With Magic Mike, he not only set the stage on fire, but also ignited quite a cultural revolution. Magic Mike has been one of the few franchises to cater to the female gaze. Channing's story has completely changed the way people perceive male exotic dancers, challenging all conventional notions of masculinity. Who knew that a story about a bunch of guys taking off their clothes would go on to have such an impact on the film industry? But that's exactly what it did. Let me paint you a picture. Imagine Channing Tatum, Joe Manganiello, Matt Bomer, and a whole squad of dreamy dancers embarking on an epic road trip, filled with some wild adventures. It sounds like a dream come true if you ask me. Magic Mike XXL was the much-anticipated continuation of the franchise. And boy, Mike Lane made it rain, in more ways than one. The film raked in a whopping $122.5 million globally, and was declared a massive hit. Of course, with the success of the first two films, the third installment didn't disappoint fans either, except some of us didn't appreciate the 7-year-long wait. But all's well that ends well. While the third and final chapter in the Magic Mike franchise didn't make the kind of profits that the first two films did, it gave the world one last chance to swoon at Channing as Mike Lane. Magic Mike's Last Dance features Salma Hayek as the main character's love interest. And let's just say that the chemistry between these two will definitely make you weak in the knees. You might be thinking that the third film was it for Magic Mike, but Soderbergh definitely thinks the show can still go on, just without Mike, since his story is pretty much done. The director has openly hinted at a possible spin-off. While Tatum might not be the star of the show, you know he's definitely going to be calling the shots behind the scenes. As far as the spin-off goes, Soderbergh believes that the next generation of Magic Mike films can follow a female stripper, shedding a whole new light on the industry. Soderbergh went on to say that he'd love to make a film about a woman who lives in the Magic Mike universe and is inspired to open her own club. I guess we'll have to wait and see if this does become a reality. Let's just say that Channing has no plans to let the franchise die down in the meantime. After carrying the films on his sculpted shoulders, Tatum found a way to turn the franchise into a $180 million side hustle. Before you get too confused, let me break it down for you. The story of Mike Lane has always been pretty close to Tatum's heart, so with the success of the first film, he decided that he didn't want to expand the franchise with just films. He wanted to transform it into an entire experience. This man wanted to reinvent the idea of the male stripper, helping people realize the importance of the art of strip-teasing. And that's how Magic Mike was brought to life. Franchised as a live act that tours the world and is permanently located in Las Vegas at the Sahara Casino. To this date, the tour has sold over $125 million worth of tickets. But of course, the journey to something as revolutionary as this wasn't easy. To make Magic Mike a tangible experience for the fans, Channing and his team, consisting of Carolyn and producer Peter Kiernan, had to hustle hard. They raised around $8 million, including some of their own money, to set the whole thing in motion. In 2017, the show was finally on the road. To this day, you can witness the steamy spectacle of Magic Mike live every week at the Sahara Casino, for seats as low as $49. Let's just say that it's worth every single penny. The Magic Mike Live phenomenon didn't just stop there. The magic spread like wildfire all over London, Berlin, and even Australia. Everywhere it goes, the audience is left sweating and panting for all the right reasons. It's like a traveling circus, but for adults. Sadly, Channing isn't one of the attractions of the show. But the dancers and performers he's picked to be part of this live act are an absolute treat for the eyes, heart, and soul. As far as Channing's profits go, it's not known how much he's earning from all these live shows, but it's safe to assume that he's pretty much set for life. Tatum actually plans on expanding this live tour idea further. Rumor has it that he's brewing up a brand new show inspired by the Step Up franchise, along with a dance academy for kids. But adult-rated content isn't the only thing Tatum is here for. He's also toying with the idea of transforming his children's book, Sparkella, into a mesmerizing live show. Can you imagine just how cool that will be? So, from completely changing the way the world looked at male exotic dancers, to pushing some provocative boundaries with the first film. This was how Channing Tatum carried the Magic Mike franchise.